Being a marketer's no sweat. You just have to manage dozens of channels, launch hundreds of campaigns, score thousands of leads, and okay, fine, it's a lot of sweat. Unless you have HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools to help you do all that and more. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
I've loved New England. I've loved playing with the Free Jacks. I've loved how competitive the environment is. I love the fans and the community that we have up here in New England. So it wasn't an easy decision by any means, and there was the option to stay with the Free Jacks again, and ultimately it just came down to probably one wanting to, some Rugby World Cup qualifiers next year, and Rugby World Cup 2027 is a big thing in my rugby career and on the rugby calendar, and being a part of the squad that fell short in the repechage a couple of years ago, like it hurt. I think there's a lot of words, and you can do this, and you can try and do this, but how can I actually be a part of something that's going to benefit the national side? And I think joining Anthem is that.
Welcome to US Rugby Happy Hour Live. Interviews with the biggest names in American rugby.
The New England Free Jacks, Major League Rugby champions. One-on-one to score.
Here are your hosts, Bill Baker and that other guy.
Welcome to tonight's show. It is the eve of Halloween, and I nearly put on a Halloween costume, but I didn't tell anybody else. So I didn't want to be the only one doing it, and I don't really have a costume, so I'm not doing that. Fitzy, you're in costume, I believe. You are wearing the hat, and you haven't shaved in a few days, looks like.
Yeah, I'm going as a beach bum. That's my lifestyle these days. Yeah.
Hey, man, eat it up.
Even though I'm not anywhere near a beach, but it's okay.
Son of a beach. Well, Fitzy, happy Halloween.
Hold on.
Yeah, go on.
Hold on. No. I'm sure the listeners know by now the little hair metal 80s alter ego thing you have going on. I figured that was your Halloween costume.
I do have that stage persona of Billy Rocks. So if anyone's in the area ever, I do host karaoke once in a while. But only as Billy Rocks around Halloween. Otherwise, yeah. Let's not subscribe to our millions of listeners. Fitzy, Halloween tomorrow. You guys anything going on? Kids out there? You're walking around with a little, pumpkin full of candy, and you're going to steal it, right?
3 kids, yeah. Of course. I'm going through all their candy, make sure there's nothing in it, and anything that's good, it's going to go into
safety
my
first.
pile. Look at all the bad candy, of course.
Yep.
Yeah.
Safety first. All the apples to the kids. All the Reese's peanut butter cups to dad.
M&M peanuts are my favorite. That's my favorite.
Oh yeah, no, I can inhale a case of peanut butter cups personally, but which is why I'm kind of like this right now. All right, enough of that. Let's talk some rugby, Fitzy. That's why we're here tonight. Let's tie up some loose ends as far as rugby goes around USA right now. USA matches. You and I just both saw it today. They finally published the broadcasting details of the USA matches coming up. The men's matches coming up. 2 matches. One match in Rugby Pass. Thank you. And 2 matches on our old friends, Flow Rugby, a Portugal and Spain match, and Tonga on Rugby Pass. I was hoping that Flow was behind us, but hey, at least it's available. I guess I have to get my subscription for a month and then nix it. But happy to see broadcast. I do like when Rugby Pass does it, but I know beggars can't be choosers, right? I mean, we're excited about it. You're excited about it.
I just find it odd that the one game is on Rugby Pass TV, and the other 2 are on Flow Rugby. I don't mean to bash Flow Rugby.
No, I know.
They're an easy target. Yeah. I've really grown to like Rugby Pass TV because it's free, which is fantastic. Yeah. You just got to get on Wi-Fi and you can watch it anywhere. So.
Yeah, and on that note, the Rugby Network I love also. It's a small amount of money for all the Premiership matches, the Women's Premiership Rugby, and they had some. Did they have some USA matches at one point? I don't know, but a lot of rugby is available on the Rugby Network. So no shortage of rugby on any over-the-top or broadcast network in the United States now. I mean, again, 10 plus years ago, you had to go to a pub to watch anything. So I'll take it. Other than that, let's talk Major League Rugby really quick. Paul Mullen, USA Eagle Paul Mullen, has landed. He's in New Orleans, so good to see him land somewhere. He left Utah. A bunch of players left Utah recently. And speaking of Utah, you've seen these. They've been signing a lot of players in the offseason, including a 4 or 5 this past week. Any thoughts on that team right there?
Yeah, we saw a couple of weeks ago, right, that they put out this big announcement. Oh, no, I shouldn't say big announcement, but maybe a big graphic because it fit like 16 or 17 players on it. A number of players left. Some that I think were kind of surprised. There's obviously a few that we don't know about yet. Joe Hodgson, Michael Ranson. You figure they're hanging around. Maybe this guy Mitch's brother. I hear he's pretty decent. Bailey. He's got capped. He's capped Eagle. But yeah, I mean, so they've signed Gabe Casey from the center, formerly New England. They signed Nick Ben. He was a center formerly of Dallas. They're signing Jordan Trainer. He was a fullback wing out of. He played for Nola Gold. So yeah, they're making a couple of moves there, and it seems like it's on the domestic side. The number of younger domestic players. So maybe it's kind of like a reshuffling here.
Yeah.
Run out with some younger guys and give them a shot and see how it goes.
Well, I hope so, because early on in the moves with Utah, there were no domestic players. I mean, they were signing a lot of quality players, and a handful of teams were. I mean, NOLA's make a lot of moves. New England's made a lot of moves. Not a lot of domestic players, but a lot of quality players seem to be coming into the league from overseas. And it's always been quality players, but it seems like it's slightly upticking. More quality, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess you're right. They signed what's his name, the Liam Coltman, right? The front rower out of All Black. He's got a couple of test matches with New Zealand. That's a big signing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's go on to another big name here in a second. But first, listeners, if you don't mind, please like, follow, and subscribe this show. If you're watching live right now on Facebook or YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I love getting those little notifications, even if it's 1 or 2 a day. Ding. Someone subscribed. Love it. Thank you so much. Love getting these interviews out in front of USA Rugby fans, Major League Rugby fans, and such. So please do that. And also share this podcast or this interview, these live interviews with your friends. And each one of these live interviews is released as a podcast on Thursdays. So Thursdays, we drop a new podcast. Pretty much the entire thing that we do live with some added production elements to it to make us sound snazzy and maybe some EQing in our voices. But yes.
Take some overtime for that.
Yes, and they pay me handsomely for that. All right, let's do it. Let's move on to our guest. He's waiting patiently for us tonight. Joining us tonight, a face that has been around Quincy, Massachusetts, New England Free Jacks location since their inaugural season. Let's welcome Mitch Wilson. Hey, Mitch.
Hey, guys. How we doing?
Good, man. And I should say has been around since inaugural season until lately. I mean, you're still in the area, I think. But yes, technically, well, before we get into that, how are you, man?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm been enjoying a little bit of an off season. We head into camp tomorrow, which I'm sure we'll chat more about. But excited to get back with the boys and finish off the season, hopefully on a high note.
And you're healthy?
Yes, healthy. Thankfully.
Good.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's knock on some wood here. I just shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
All right, Mitch. Here it is. Here's your chance to make the official announcement of where you'll be playing in the 2025 Major League Rugby season. Go.
Wow. Is everyone ready? Is the world ready? Yeah. Well, I'll be heading to Anthem down in Charlotte to join them, and very excited to get down there and build off what they started last year.
All right, hold on. It's time for a change of.
Oh wow!
Oh, look at that!
From New England mechanic shirt to the inaugural day of Anthem when I was there last year when the Free Jacks played against Anthem, and it got really dark in my room all of a sudden. But yeah, there you go, number A.
Bill, does that mean you're getting rid of all your Free Jacks stuff now, Bill? Is that what that means?
It's tempting because with Mitch gone, I mean, who else is left? No offense, Mitch. Well, anyway,
I feel the same way. I'm like, what do I do with all my Free Jacks kit now? But
it's true.
No, it'll be in storage. You got to hold on to the memory. So
we can. If I go full screen, I can. If you want to store it like in a museum, I'll put it in my wall for a while.
Yeah, there we go.
Back eventually.
I got a jersey.
Mitch. Excuse me. I noticed in one of your social media posts from like 3+ years ago, you were wearing an old Charlotte Hornets T-shirt.
Oh wow!
A couple of questions. One, did you have money for laundry? And B, did you already knew back then you'd be in the South again?
No, I didn't. That was just so I was quite into like vintage clothing and thrifting, and found this probably 3 sizes too big Charlotte Hornets t-shirt with holes in it, and thought it was cool and repped it, and then quickly learned that in Boston you don't wear non-New England sporting fit around, especially to breweries and bars. So yeah, that one's since been put back into the closet, but I'm excited to maybe wear it again.
Well, Mitch, I don't know if you've ever seen a starter jacket, but I had a Charlotte Hornets starter jacket.
Yeah,
that was a prized possession of mine.
The shiny
I wish I
ones?
still had that. The big, like, puffy, shiny, like when they first came out in like the mid '90s. Like all the kids wanted one. I think somehow my parents got one. I like begged them. I finally got one. I wish I still had that thing. I would wear it if I fit into it. But.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I do support the Celtics. I've got a Celtics jersey as well, and I did support them before they won the championship this past year, so I didn't just jump on the bandwagon. But yeah, like I said, just used to think being from Australia, the American, or originally from Australia, the American sporting scene's quite cool, and never really had a team, so I thought I could support any team really. And then again, learned pretty quick in Boston you can't do that. So maybe down in Charlotte I can still wear a Celtics jersey and get away with it.
Well, Mitch, you were with the Free Jacks. I believe from day one. My notes are correct, or at least the first professional season for the Free Jacks. Obviously, a winning, established organization, back-to-back championships. Now moving to Charlotte, new program, young team. I guess just any thoughts on or possibly kind of like that mindset change for you? Does that change going, say, from a team that's, championships were kind of like, hey, this is the expectation, to a team where younger, we're building? Is the mind shift, or is the mind change different as an approach to professionalism or playing?
I'd say I'm still planning on heading down there with the same mindset. I think the plans to go down there and win. The plans to go down there and win a championship, and to have that mindset. And regardless of results, that's going to be the mindset, but I understand that they are a new team to the league, and they're going to have, challenges that the Free Jacks had in their first year and second year. And, I'm hoping that I can contribute both on the field, but then off the field in the environment, and, work with coaches and work within the community to kind of grow what they're building down there, and just add as much value as I can. And, if they want to hear some thoughts, I'm not going to be able to copy and paste what's worked up in New England and bring it down there, but I'm sure I have a few ideas that they're not doing down there, and hopefully we can implement them and it goes well. So yeah, same mindset, but definitely there will be different challenges as there is with any new team and second year team, and I'm excited to hopefully add some value where I can.
Would you, since the Anthem is a little bit younger, right? The goal to try and get more Eagles together, and I think the emphasis is kind of on the younger ones. Given that you're an established men's Eagle, your role on the team, are you, I guess, anticipating more of like a vocal team leader type role, right? Taking guys under the wing, like, hey, this is how you're to be a professional. This is how you approach, playing rugby as a men's Eagle.
Yeah, I've learned a lot over my career, and over the years of how you should and shouldn't do certain things, and I definitely want to help the young guys down there and help them learn, and certainly not going to go down there and try and coach them up any more than they need to, but if I can add value, just a good teammate and be a friend to these guys, and help them along the way, whilst also continuing to grow myself as a player and be better as a player myself.
You got to be somewhat excited, Mitch, about rejoining your old college teammate Connor Mooneyham. Obviously, you might be both wings, or you in the fullback, whatever. Junior Gaffa, who spent some time with the Free Jacks. I mean, this backline looks... It's nothing to take it lightly. So you got to be excited about that possibility of playing with these guys, especially with Connor again.
Oh, 100%. Before I made the decision to go down to Anthem, Connor and I roomed together on on Eagles tours, and then we're all college roommates as well. Not only do we play at life together, but we also live together. So I know Connor very well, and to be able to share the field with him, and we're both going down there to experience something new together. Like, I'm really excited about that. And then, with the likes of Junior Gaffer, Linne Latu, Eric Storty, some guys that I've had the privilege to work with and play with already. I'm excited to do that again.
And have you had many conversations yet with maybe Alama or about expectations coming up, or is it too soon, let's say, or maybe not Alama, maybe Scott as well, about your role with the team?
To be honest, not a whole lot of conversations. Obviously work with Scott and Alama within the Eagles program, and I'm sure that what they're doing in Charlotte is trying to replicate as much of the same stuff that we're doing with the Eagles program. So I'm quite aligned to that, and I'm sure over the next couple months before the season starts that we'll be having more conversations around my role and what I can bring to the table for Anthem.
So just about that Anthem a little bit more. Obviously, Anthem's been put together for a big reason, not just to compete in Major League Rugby, but to compete in the world stage, or get you and other Eagles ready to perform better on the world stage. So with that said, what was I trying to say there, Fitzy? There was a question there.
Sounds like one of my questions. And just
I know. It's like went right over my head. We want to talk about this a little bit more later, but let's dabble into it now. Actually, Mitch, let's talk about that decision to move over to down to Charlotte. All right,
Yeah.
Contract was up with Free Jacks, I believe. What was that decision making like? Was there some push, say, from Scott, whoever else, or encouragement to make that move? Were there options still available with the Free Jacks, et cetera?
Yeah, I think remember a call that we had, like the Eagles will do like calls every so often. The past few weeks I've had like a weekly call every Sunday where we get together and just chat around performance and certain things of the game. But I remember last year he he was pretty blunt about it. It was like, hey, I'm just going to be blunt about it. I want to get as many of our Eagles players playing with Anthem as possible, So that stuck in the back of my head, but it didn't mean a whole lot at the time. Obviously really enjoyed my time with the Free Jacks up in Boston, and have loved it since the start. And with my contract being over, I was fully intending on re-signing and staying with the Free Jacks. And then, again, like outside of that, there wasn't a whole lot of push from Scott. He had mentioned it, and, Scott's someone that he says something and he doesn't have to reiterate it, that's what he means. So, I think for me, like I've been I'm a USA Rugby player, but I'm also a USA Rugby fan as well. I want to see the Eagles do well, whether I'm a part of the group or not. And, I've loved the idea of Anthem being a team that's bringing in domestic players and trying to get as many of those players playing together week in, week out to benefit the national side, And I think, like me, thinking that's a great idea is one thing, but then, okay, can I be a part of this? Can I add value to this? Can this, can I get on board with this to the extent where I'm actually playing with Anthem and, I'm a part of that mission. So, it was something that was in the back of my head. And at the same time, I've loved New England. I've loved playing with the Free Jacks. I've loved how competitive the environment is. I love the fans and the community that we have up here in New England. So it wasn't an easy decision by any means. And, there was the option to stay with the Free Jacks again. And, it was a lot of going back and forth. And ultimately, it just came down to probably wanting to, some Rugby World Cup qualifiers next year. And, Rugby World Cup 2027 is, a big, a big thing in my rugby career and on the rugby calendar, and being a part of the squad that fell short in the repechage a couple of years ago, like it hurt, and I think there's a lot of like words and you can do this and you can try and do this, but like how can I actually be a part of something that's going to benefit the national side. And, I think joining Anthem is that. So, it's, again, it wasn't an easy decision, but I think it is the right decision. And that being said, I think I've been in Boston for 5 years now, and again, I've loved every minute of it and wouldn't change it for the world. But I'm also, I grew up in Australia. I moved to Florida, and then I went to university at Life, and then moving up to New England was like one of the best decisions I made, to have that change. And now that I've been here for 5 years, I'm, excited for some more change. And I think that this, it's going to give me energy as a player and also as a person, and to experience a new part of the country that I haven't experienced before. So there's a lot of exciting things about it, and that ultimately went into the decision as well.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
And back to the show. Wait, Fitz, before you jump in, I do have a couple comments online I want to show you really quick. Our buddy Phil from the Jacks Rangers show definitely wanted to comment. Says first ever try scorer for New England. He wants to make sure everyone remembers that. And then he also wrote, "Who's cutting onions?" So someone's crying. I believe Phil's crying.
Oh, Phil.
So, but it's okay, buddy. I'm still a New England fan by heart. Don't give me a hard time. Go on.
Well, Mitch. So you're coming back south. You're coming back down south to North Carolina. You can't get away from Phil, because Phil's actually, he claims he's from South
Charlotte
Carolina, even though he's a transplant New Englander. But he claims he's from the South. But anyway, Mitch, are you familiar? Obviously, you spent a couple of years in Atlanta there for Life. Are you familiar much with the Charlotte area?
To be honest, not a whole lot. I'm going into this pretty blind. I had the opportunity last year. We were based in Charlotte at the UNC Charlotte University down there, and that's where we had a training camp before we went on the summer tour last year, and was able to kind of get out and grab a coffee and experience the area a little bit, but not a whole lot. And then a couple of weeks ago, I went down there. I've been doing a bit of coaching with the Harvard women's team, and they played Queen's University down there. So went down there for an away match, but it was it was a pretty quick and structured trip that I didn't get to explore much. But I'm really excited to experience it and get to know the area. And if you guys have any recommendations to some things that I have to do whilst I'm down there, please let me know.
Well, did you ever make I got one. Did you ever make a trip to Vitamin C Brewing Company not far from Quincy?
Yeah, multiple trips. Yeah.
All right. Then about closer to Quincy than Vitamin C is a place called Burial Brewing Company.
Okay.
Matter of fact, when I was doing some notes for the show earlier, I remembered that, and I ordered a case from them, which was really expensive. Anyway, visit them. That's all I got for you. Well, I gave you a bunch, and we never did that show. We'll talk about that later, Fitzy. Hey, okay, so let's talk about the free New England real quick again before we want to get into USA Rugby also. But yeah. I want to talk specifically about Veterans Memorial Stadium, and I know Fitzy. I always tell him how amazing it is. He's yet to come there, and I want him to go there. So Fort Quincy, as Free Jacks fans call it. Fitzy, I think you agree. It's probably top 1, 2, or 3, like top 3 game day experiences in Major League Rugby. You know, Alex McElby, TK, all those guys do a great job. How much fun did you have interacting with the fan base up here? And also, how big was that crowd for you when you were on the field? And just to reiterate with that, so just dealing with the fan base other than me, I'm annoying as hell. And also how well the fans travel. So the experience on the field, hearing the crowd, the experience of the fan interaction, and also how well the fans travel for New England.
Yeah, the experience on the field was awesome, you know, and it helped us in some big games. Well, it helped us in every game, you know, but in some big games, it's what separated us from winning or losing, you know. And then after the games, the way that we can interact with, you know, fans. Like I almost don't like to use the word fans, because it's like we're friends, you know, and we're all in the same community together, and we're all trying to grow rugby in the New England area and in the US as a whole. So, you know, to be able to interact with them was special. And then to like meet kids and it really just grew over the years, you know. It was like even when we first started playing there, we got some good numbers out, but it always felt like there was way more, and then towards the last couple of years when we were making playoff runs, like when the stadium was selling out, it felt like there was 10,000 people there, and I think it only fits 5,000. So, it was special, and it's a fun place to play. I don't know how fun it is to play if you're the opponent. Chatting to to Eagles teammates and friends on other teams, it was always a fun place for them to come and play as well, to be honest. Like they'd always knew it was going to be a tough match, and knew that they were going to maybe get heckled or, it was always going to be a fun atmosphere to play. And I think that helped other teams as well come and know that they would have to put on their best performance. And and it was good. Like even seeing some of the Free Jacks fans interact with the opponents after the games, it was all respectful. And, I think it was just, it was a special place to play. And, certainly won't be forgetting those memories. And I'm looking forward to playing at Veterans against the Free Jacks. Bittersweet.
Yeah.
Mitch, I gotta ask, because from the outside looking in and looking at social media, it just seemed like the group you guys had in New England, and maybe that's still carried over, it seemed like you all had a lot of fun, right? Like the antics in the locker room, like guys jumping in the car and getting wheeled down the hallway, little silly things like that, or just like, the different themes, whether it was the post-game stuff. It just seemed like it was a lot of fun. So I guess, what was that unique to the Free Jacks organization, or, what was it brought all of that together where you guys were able to just perform well on the field, but then off the field, just like have a real good time?
Yeah, like I think the performances on the field are directly related to the amount of fun that we have in the environment as a whole. I think give credit to Mags, who kind of oversees the whole thing, but then he's able to allow TK to do what he wants, and then again TK kind of hands it over to the coaches. And we've had some really great coaches over the past few years, or since the start, and they've been able to kind of create a theme. And they always do like a theme launch night. We have like mini teams within the team, and there's like a mini team draft system, and that we're super competitive. We're all competitive as it is, but then we're competing, whether it's in preseason over fitness and conditioning games, or if it's like making a silly photo, who has the best photo to put in our the kitchen area or the eating area of the facility. And we always like tied it back to the theme, I think, and I think that's what made it more than just rugby. I think we've had some awesome themes over the years. A few years ago it was Money Heist, which was the Netflix TV show, which I actually haven't watched yet, but like, we all would wear these red toilet suits, would go get breakfast as a team before we're chatting about, on a Monday morning before we're chatting about film and the details of the game, whether we won or lost, we're all connecting with each other and giving awards out to, even players that didn't play in the game, who trained the best that week, or, last 2 years ago, it was like around baseball and finishing at Fenway with this like elaborate idea that we're going to play the first rugby game at Fenway. And it just kind of separated it from being just rugby every day, and then that led into the rugby with, our play calls were kind of revolved around that theme as well. And then, as you mentioned, like we would call a turnover try, a home run, so like if we hit any home runs, we'd put a player in the laundry hamper and push them down the hallway in the gym. And and then again this year it was like a kind of a music theme, and we connected with that in a lot of ways. We always had a song for the week, and it just kept things interesting, and it didn't ever make things stale, and then you kind of remember that, like, this memorabilia in our facility at the Free Jacks, where it's the photos that we took a couple of years ago that are still framed and up on the walls, and certain things that just stick around, and you connect yourself to that more than just Paula Balacana scored 4 tries on the weekend, certain things like that, so it kind of kept things interesting, and it also just connected all the players that maybe didn't get the opportunity to get many minutes throughout the season. It kept them engaged with the with the competitiveness in the mini teams, and I think all that extra stuff directly related to the way we played with each other on the field, and we spent a lot of time together. There was a lot of planning that went into, even the photo shoots and catching up with each other on the day off to get attire for a photo shoot, or, strategic planning that goes into the draft night, before you've even met most of the players. You're like, who's standing out, who's good, sometimes you pick great players who you didn't realize were going to be as out there as they are, and then sometimes you might pick someone that's connecting off the bat, and then they don't bring as much in maybe the conditioning games, and so it's good, and it keeps, and it's all balanced as well, like certain mini teams went for fast outside backs, and they were good in some of the conditioning games, but then they maybe weren't as out there for the ideas of the photo shoots and stuff. So it was really special, and all that kind of led into the performances on the field, but also just made it a lot more than just rugby. I think we're able to connect with even the staff, and it was good. The Free Jacks have done a really good job of that.
So, listen, I want to make one more comment about Quincy. Then, what I want to do, Fitz, I want to fast forward to the autumn series coming up here for a couple of reasons. But listeners, if you're a rugby fan, not even a Free Jacks fan, or just heard about the game, do yourself a favor if you're in the Boston area in the spring and summer. Go to a Free Jacks match. There's brew fest before matches. There's bands before matches. There's bands after matches. Mags likes alternative music, so I'm assuming this year he'll get a lot of these alt bands back. I don't know a lot of other teams that allow all the fans to walk on the field and mingle with the players. I know some do. It is a really welcoming environment, and when there is a sold out crowd, it's electric. And to me, my favorite aspect of that is the player tunnel, which most stadiums don't have. The players go in and out, and the fans are over them, yelling at them or cheering them on. Sorry, not yelling at them.
Well,
with that said, Mitch, let's move forward. We could talk about the PNC, whatever else, but we talked to a couple of other people about it, and that's in the past. Those are games I know you and Greg Peterson, Scott Lawrence all agree. Winnable matches, it just didn't work out that way. But and you got some valuable minutes. You played well. Matter of fact, I don't think I've ever seen anyone intercept a kick with their knees and almost run it back. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. We'll say I meant to do that, right?
Right. Exactly. It's we call it the Wilson. That's the new play.
Yeah.
But let's go forward. You're leaving tomorrow, and where's the team going to be based?
So we're leaving tomorrow. We're all meeting in Newark, New Jersey, and then flying from there straight to Lisbon. And we'll be based there just outside of Lisbon. I should probably look up the hotel and figure out the little town that we're going to be in, but it's somewhere in Portugal, about an hour and a half outside of Lisbon. We'll be based there for the first week and some, and then we'll play Portugal there, and then we head to France to play Tonga. We'll be based a little bit outside of Lyon. They'll be based there for the week, and then the final week is in Madrid. And we'll play Spain over there. So kind of based in 3 different cities for 3 separate weeks.
But together for almost 4 weeks, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, okay, speaking of together, what is the sense, of the team going into these matches? Is it we must win 2 of the 3 at least? Is it, listen, we're tired of losing, let's win some of these matches? Or is it still more of a growth mindset? Our goal is World Cup or whatever else.
Yeah, I could be wrong here, but I don't think there is we have to win 1 of the 3 or 2 of the 3 or 3 of the 3. But I think everyone's going into this test series hoping to win all 3. I think they're 3 winnable games against 3 good opponents. I think we owe a good game to Portugal after, drawing to them in the repechage and them going to the World Cup, and then them kind of giving us a good beating last year in the summer series. And then Tonga, we didn't get to play them in the PNC, but knowing kind of based on who they played and who we played, they're a beatable team, and it's going to be a physical, tough game against them. And then Spain, we got a good win against them in November last year, but we know that they're going to be coming for us now, especially after beating them in Spain. It's another game in Spain, and again, it's another game we should and hopefully go and win. So yeah, hopefully go and win 3 of 3. And I think that'll be a good way to finish the year, and As you saw and mentioned in the PNC, there was some good games, but we just fell short in a few of them, or kind of failed to put together a full 80-minute performance. So I think some focus areas going into this test series that we'll highlight those. But yeah, I think we got to go win 3 of 3, and if we fall short, we'll be back to the drawing board. But yeah, hopefully it's 3 from 3.
Mm-hmm.
So some familiar names in that pool. USA Rugby put out like the pool of names a couple of weeks ago. Certainly we won't have the match day 23 until a couple of days before that first test match there. But he's a good team back. Obviously he's got the on break there from the Premiership. What does his leadership and kind of like playmaking ability mean for the team? I know that seems like such an obvious question, but does the mood feel different when he's got that 10 jersey on, commanding things out there?
Yeah, AJ is a classy player. Whenever he's in camp, it's almost like having another coach in the building. He has a plethora of knowledge to the game, and AJ's pretty blunt about it as well. He just tell you to do something and you do it because you trust him and his experience. And then you've got players like Luke Carty, that's a great player and been playing very well in AJ's absence. So, but no, it's going to be awesome having Aj back, and he brings another level of knowledge to the game, and doesn't overcomplicate things and doesn't try and do things that maybe he does in Bristol or in the Prem. I think he, if anything, will simplify things. And then as a player on the field playing outside of AJ or inside of AJ, like, his talent, he can attack the line, and he carries quite a bit. So just always being ready for that, and kind of just being ready for him to make decisions on the fly, which is what he's able to do very well.
Well, Mitch, on yourself and kind of your performance, you've established yourself as potentially a long-term member of the Eagles squad, number of caps there. I guess, what kind of work have you been putting in to maintain your spot, say, on the squad, keeping those younger guys off the pitch for a little bit longer?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of young guys coming through, and I'm sure there'll be
younger guys. Mitch, let's younger guys. I don't mean to call you old. No,
I'm old. It's all right, But yeah, there's young guys coming through, and they're knocking on the door, and that keeps me on my game, and when we're competing. I think it would be fair to them to say that I am a long-term solution. I don't think anyone's mindset in the squad is like I'm the man. Potentially someone like AJ, sure, but like at the same time, AJ's working his tail off and he's competing with guys in the Prem. So I think for me, I've been working on just playing consistent performances. I think early on in my with a few of my first caps, like not being a bit inconsistent with some of my performances, and maybe overthinking it, or kind of overplaying games before I'm even on the field. So I think just like backing myself, making sure I'm connecting with players inside and outside of me and being aligned with them, and then just kind of just enjoying it. I think for me, like obviously I've got my work on with my kicking game and making sure I'm getting high speeds, with a lot of athletic young players coming through that are rapid and have good skill sets, but I think the big thing for me is just being consistent in my performances, and that kind of just comes down to mindset. And for me, it's not getting all juiced up and crazy before a game, like, and overplaying it. It's kind of just enjoying it and being almost chill about the fact that it's just another test, and obviously it's another test, which means it's a big game, and you're representing the United States and your clubs in the US. But I think at the same time, it's just at the end of the day, it's just rugby, and I think for me that's helped, especially over the PNC, is just really just enjoying it for what it is, and taking every moment as it happens. There's got to be mistakes. I'm going to make a mistake on the field. Hopefully not many, but there will be mistakes being made, and it's just kind of not pondering too much on those mistakes and letting it affect my next play, I guess. So just kind of, being in the moment out on the field and again, just enjoying it and almost being a bit more laid back around the fact because, I think, if we talk about the Free Jacks, like I'm so comfortable with the Free Jacks and I know where I'm playing and I know what I'm doing, but then like I maybe wouldn't get the same consistent performance with the Eagles, so it's just kind of enjoying that and being comfortable in that environment. And I think, with more tours and more caps, that comes naturally. But then on the flip side, just also making sure I'm in that right mind state that, I'm not getting too worked up over a mistake and, it's a next job mindset. And Scott's been great at bringing in guys on these calls that will kind of chat to us about our performance. They've brought in kind of like a mental skills coach for one tour that was helpful, and just little things like that. And then just finding out what works for me, as I get a bit older and more comfortable with more tests.
So, Mitch, one last thing before you go. There's actually two things, and I was listening so intently what you were saying, I totally forgot the second thing. But it's one of those nights, Fitzy, I'm forgetting things. Nearly a year ago, against Spain, you and your brother shared the field together in the USA uniform. Pretty amazing day, I would think. But did you, first of all, what was the experience like to play with him in a USA uniform? But also, was it something you even thought about as you're going on, or you were on the pitch with him, or was it mostly after the match you realized, wow, hey, brother, we did this? And do you actually like your brother? Just kidding.
Yeah, no, I love Bales. Obviously, he's the pro, but no, I really enjoyed being able to connect with him. We roomed together on tour when he was in camp, and that was good to spend some time with him. First of all, like, he's based out in Utah, so I don't get a whole lot of time with him. But it's been something that we've dreamed about as like kids growing up in Australia. We always wanted to play professional rugby or to represent our country together. And then when we moved over to the US, I was 16, he was 12, and it was like maybe we can play for the US, and that wasn't like a big thing. But obviously as I went away to college and played rugby, and the MLR started, and he was out in Utah and he was doing awesome out there, and was the captain out there. And then I knew that he was kind of on the fringe and kind of in the mix, and then he got called into camp a couple of weeks later due to an injury. And never do you want someone to get injured, but it opened up an opportunity for him to join us. And I was excited to be able to share the field with him. And when he made his first cap, like, we're both focused on the game itself, but I remember just being, as an older brother, just super proud of him. And I think he got like 8 minutes on the field, but within that 8 minutes he had probably 6 or 7 positive involvements. And that's kind of the energy that you want your brother to be bringing off the bench. And it was special, and once you get your cap, you have to wear it for 24 hours. So it was cool to just like look over and see him still wearing his cap at the airport on the flights home. And no, it was a special moment, and it was special to my family, that my parents that have given a lot for us to be able to play rugby throughout our lives. And no, it meant a lot, and I'm super proud of him.
Nice. Fitzy, any last words of encouragement or comments or questions for Mr. Wilson?
I don't think that's it. I got to find the Charlotte Hornets starter jack. I'll send it down to them. You might not know it down in Charlotte.
Yeah.
We're golf down there with the weather being nicer. So
Yeah.
All right, Mitch, we're going to let you go ahead and pack if you haven't already done so, and get your beauty sleep for this trip. Thank you, man, for coming on. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure watching you in a New England Free Jacks uniform, and we can't wait to see what you do with the anthem and also with USA this next month.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I really appreciate you guys hosting me tonight, and thank you for what you're doing for the game in the US, and bringing eyes in and exposure to your millions of viewers.
Millions.
And yeah. It's really good. I really appreciate it. So thanks, guys.
All right, Mitch. Thanks again, and good luck, and we'll chat again soon.
Cheers. All right, bye-bye.
Oh, yeah. Oh, every show I love talking to these guys, and me with my personal experience, I guess, if you want to call it personal. I'm just saying hello to Mitch after games with the Free Jacks or whatever else all that time, and to see him leave. I mean, I'm a fan. I hate to see him leave, because he's been a stalwart with this team since day one of their MLR year. So I'm sure that wasn't an easy decision for him. And I'm sure after this interview, he's probably going, "Oh shit, I shouldn't have left, man. It's so much more fun up moving."
No, but I'm sure it'll be a fun welcome back, and I'm sure the Free Jacks fan base, when Anthem goes up there to play, I'm assuming there'll be a home and away in the 2025 season. I'm not sure what the conference is going to look like, but yeah, should Anthem play at Fort Quincy there in 2025, there'll be a nice introduction. And look, if he scores 3 tries against you guys, I'm all for it.
Well, you know what? The fans would cheer him. They would. They'd totally cheer him.
What if you scored 3 tries in the game-winning try in the final seconds to beat New England, to get Anthem's first win? That would be, you couldn't script it any better. Mitch, if you're still listening, that would just be amazing.
You know what? It would be like the scene from the Love of, what's it, the baseball movie with Kevin Costner, Love of the Game, where that nasty Yankee fan's like booing the entire time, and then he's like, "Yeah, all right." He's all right. Give it up for him.
Pull the ball out of the gloves of guys.
That's true. That's true. Oh God, what a mess that was. Anyway, go Dodgers. All right. All right, Fitzy, good stuff. Let's do this again. Hopefully next week. What do you say?
Oh yeah, we'll see.
I think you look at your schedule.
Let me look the score of the Dodgers game.
What is it?
It's 5-3 Yankees at the moment.
I guess you could have told me that after we stopped recording. Okay. Everybody, thanks again for tuning in. It's been a lot of fun. That was Mitch Wilson, officially now of Anthem Rugby in Charlotte. This interview will be released to the podcast tomorrow. Thank you so much. Go ahead and like, follow, and subscribe, and share this pod with your friends and enemies. See you next time.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.